Hey everybody, Ben here for the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Top 5 Friday. Every Friday we get together and we have a look at the top 5, something normally to do with Blood Bowl, and we are continuing our quest for the best third-party alternative miniatures. And this week it takes us to one of the best, not the best, but definitely one of the best big guys in Blood Bowl, Top 5 Kroxigors. So before we start, I guess we've got to talk a couple of things through. The first is Games Workshop has got two of the best Kroxigor models. This is the Blood Bowl Kroxigor from Forge World. It is £27 and it is brilliant. I've seen some beautiful ones at our tournaments, and the model itself is just a really great model. The sizing's bang on, the sculpting's brilliant. And it doesn't take a lot to get a good paint job, but it really does reward somebody who's going to paint it like, scale by scale. Then it pops like no other. And the big lad Glottal Stop is just one of my favourite Forge World Star Player models. Now he's a chunky boy, and I think he's a bit more than £27, but he is a brilliant model as well. So if you want to stick in Games Workshop land, this is one case where we can say they've got you covered. You're going to have to pay Forge World prices for it, but you are good to go. You can also convert your own from one of the Kroxigor kits from Games Workshop in Age of Sigmar. I think they've just released some Kroxigors, some new Kroxigors. It probably isn't going to be that difficult to convert them as well if you want to be a Games Workshop only team. However, what we do here is we have a look at some of the other alternatives that are out there. So if you're just coming into Blood Bowl or just thinking about picking up this team, we're going to show off some of the most popular and best models of this range. We put a post out on Monday to say, hey, what's your favourite Kroxigors? We put the list together, and we're going to start with number 5. And number 5 is a honourable mention, I guess. It's not really, but Kroxigors, not only do they play on the Lizardmen team and obviously the College of Beasts team, but they also play on the Slan team. So it would be completely remiss not to bring up these frogs here. Now, this was also mentioned a couple of times in the submissions as well, which is really cool. So this is kind of representative. Punga have not done a Lizardman team. They are one of the few STL companies out there that have not done a Lizardman team, but they did a Slan team, a Space Frog team. There is a Kroxigor in that, and they've done 2 models for the Kroxigor, and it is just so cool. The great thing about the Kroxigor is you've got the traditional dinosaur, a bipedal dinosaur, and then you've got this take, the Kroxigor, which is wicked. And they've got one in the Jungle Avengers set. And if I tab across, they've got one in their Star Player set for the Jungle Avengers as well. They're just really well done models. You've got all the kind of Aztec bits you expect from a Lustrian team, whether you're playing Amazons or Lizardmen or kind of Slan. Oh, look at that frog boy up there. It ticks all the boxes. Big old model, and it works, and it's something different. So I'm really pleased that a couple of people mentioned this one, because the Jungle Avengers, Kroxigor, it's just a ton of fun. Number 4, it's the Spinogore. Now this is Hungry Troll, and I think when we went back and we did our Lizardman top 5, Hungry Troll was in the top 5, and they leaned hard into the dinosaur vibe. They've not gone with the classic T-Rex, they've gone with the Spinosaurus, the kind of longest snout, and it does something really fun and really different. I actually really like the muddy paint scheme they've used on the website as well, and I really love the price. Now, sadly, it is out of stock at the moment. I don't know if that's because they've sold out in general and they're not going to bring it back, but a couple of you mentioned it, and it is definitely a great shout for a really cool, different Kroxigor. You've got all the fantasy football elements there. You've got the kind of crotch napkin that you can paint up. You've got skulls. You've got the big old shoulder pads with the Games Workshop approved spikes. Then you've just got this gigantic dinosaur head, and you've got the kind of spines around the back as well, and it just works really well. It's a really cool model for a really cool team, so I definitely recommend picking out the Hungry Troll Lizardman team, the Jurassic team. Is that in stock? That looks like it is in stock, so you can pick up the whole team, of which this is a part, and they definitely leaned hard into the kind of dinosaur vibe with this, and dinosaurs are pretty cool, so approve of this one. There's a great shout from you out there, and that is number 4. Number 3, it's our friends at Fanath. So this is the big lizard, and I think when we were kind of getting back into Blood Bowl, this was the Kroxigor. This was the best alternative Kroxigor for a really long time. And it is a chunk of resin. We've given these away as spot prizes at some of our tournaments. I've got one of these dudes kicking around as well. I think I didn't quite pick up this one for my Fanath Frog team. We'll come to that in a second. But the big lizard does everything it says on the tin. It is a big lizard. It's part of their Lizardman team. You can pick it up on its own in metal or resin. Can you pick up the metal one? Oh, there you go. If you want to challenge yourself, you can pick up a metal one. Or you can go for resin, and it is just an excellent model. Everything we just kind of said, it's got the Aztec vibes, and I really like the way this one just fits in. You've got the headdress with feathers, actually fits in beautifully with the Games Workshop team because of those elements. And size-wise, it is not the biggest of big guys, but it is bigger than your Sauruses. It is going to stand out as being your Kroxigor, and it is just overall a great miniature. So this one has just been a standard in third-party Blood Bowl. I don't know, man, for like a decade or however long this has been out, this has been probably the Kroxigor. There is something else that Fanath do that I definitely wanted to show off, which is Morgan Frog. This is from their Frog team. I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago when we looked at the Slan teams out there. This is the really cool thing about the Kroxigor. And I guess I should have mentioned this earlier on as well. Like, to be a Kroxigor, you need to be big. You need to have teeth and just look like a monster, and you need to have some kind of representation of prehensile tail as a skill. Now that can be tentacles if you want to go with a chaos kind of theme. It can also be a frog's tongue, which I just think is brilliant. Morgan Frog is just one of my favorite models from Fanath, and it's just when they did the Kickstarter of this team, when they showed these 3D renders, the model just looked brilliant. The team was great. The frogs are great. You got all the tokens. This is also a really good alternative. So kind of snuck in there at number 3, 2 great alternatives from Fanath. And at number 2, we've got Zoral White Scales. And I'm going to click this button. Hopefully, it will go full screen. There we go. I've got to say, Grebo do some outrageously lovely models, and they've got a very useful website too. So pretty sure we did an unbox and review of this model when all the Amazon stars came out, but this is beautiful. This is such a nice model. Now this is from Grebo Games and it's $19.99. It is in Grebenite, which means it is a high quality 3D printed model, and I'm pretty sure this guy comes in one part. Yeah, it comes in one part. Doing the unboxing reviews for these and Yellow the Witch and stuff was quite interesting, because basically with the 3D printed model, you just unbox it. You don't build it. You just take it out of the box and go, ha ha ha, cool, and you're ready to prime it. So Zoral White Scales is a massive Kroxigor. Now, the cool thing about this is you've got the kind of dinosaur style, right? It's a big old dinosaur big guy. But you've got the kind of crocodile alligator, A with the flat end of the nose, A with the, I can't remember, one of them, that alternate face, which Games Workshop went with Glottal Stop as an alternative to the T-Rex kind of mouth. And they've gone with this right here. Now this is the star player Kroxigor, which makes a lot of sense because this guy is kind of built after and in the vein of Glottal Stop, so having the alligator crocodile mouth kind of makes sense. But then they've just gone all Grebo on it, and you've got a ton of detail. You've got a ton of detail on the scales, you've got a ton of detail on the spikes, and then if you look at the armor, you've got bones and bits everywhere. This is an absolutely classic, brilliant model from Grebo, where you've got a ton of detail that contrast is just going to pick up immediately, or if you want to spend your time picking out the scales, picking out the details, it is going to reward you as a painter. Ooh, they lost a bit of the tail. Did they lose a bit of the tail, or is it just flat? Nope. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. And the other thing I really like about this is all the Grebo models. They've got this kind of video game aesthetic to them. Now, some of that is for the fact that they do these 3D renders, and I'm pretty sure that they are just 3D painted renders. That might be real. I don't know. There are some painters out there that are that good. But you get that kind of aesthetic, but they've got this kind of big V body, right? Where it's just like little hips, gigantic shoulders, and it's just... I could see this in a video game. and that's just Grebo all over. And they do have a second Kroxigor model, the Kroxigors, which is another one of what I would say the classic third-party Lizardmen big guys that are kicking out there. And this guy, super popular. This one's been around for a long time and stands the test of time. He's standing tall doing the Godzilla pose, and I think this one is also available in Greyblood now, which I think is even more advanced. I don't know. The Greyblood stuff they're doing is high quality 3D printing. We did the unboxing of the last guy, but Kroxigor here is an absolute chonker. I think we did the Lizardman unboxing as well. And it's a brilliant model with a ton of detail, and it's just very, very mighty. So, 2 for number 2, it's Grebo Games. And in at number 1, this will probably surprise none of you, and by popular demand, we have got the Crocodile Star from Brute Fun. And this shot here does not do the model justice, but it is an incredible sculpt. You have got every piece of detail that you want, and the mass of the model is wonderful too. Now, this is a 3D printed STL from Brute Fun. So obviously you can scale it up or scale it down, but you will need to use this at 100%. You don't need it to be bigger. If you go smaller, the little dead skink on his base gets a little bit too small. Sadly, I was going to scale this one up to 200%, but I have printed this model, I don't know, 50, 60 times. It is one of the most popular ones from our shop. Just look at it. He is an absolute monster, and he's done a great job with the kind of cylinder of the model as well. It stays within a 40mm base pretty nicely, and which means he's infinitely usable on the pitch. But you have got a ton of detail. You've got etching, you've got the metal, you've got that Aztec Mayan kind of style. I know I always get those mixed up and get shouted at by you guys in the comments, and I do apologize. And you've got a beautiful bunch of flesh textures there as well. Even just look at the side of the mouth. I don't know if we can image and use you've got the kind of soft pink skin that you would imagine, and you've got the outside kind of alligator crocodile face and the outside texture of all the layers of detail for this model, and it is just brilliant. I know he's supposed to be the star player Kroxigor, but the sad thing about Glottal Stop is, unless you are Mr. Burridge, Andy Burridge, you're not likely to be able to get 2 of these onto a pitch at any one time. So you need one really good one, and this lad here does a beautiful job. But I would be remiss in moving forward without also pointing out that Brute Fun's OG Kroxigor is an absolute beaut of a model as well. You've got the kind of crocodile alligator version in the star player one, and then you've got the line Kroxigor with the traditional kind of dinosaur face and all the same level of details. We used 2 of these for our College of Beasts last season. I can't remember if we've got a Kroxigor in this one. Guess we'll find out next week when the team videos go live, when the season intro goes live. But this, I think this is one of the first models that we saw around a Brute Fun, and it has definitely stood the test of time. I've painted 3 of them. I've printed and painted 3 of them for 2 different teams, and he's an absolute chonker and an absolute brilliant model. So again, another 2 for first place. It is Brute Fun. I think you gotta give it to this one here, but the fact that there is a choice is just phenomenal, and that is the other beautiful thing about Kroxigors. And I know I kind of alluded to this a minute ago. All it needs is to be a big guy. The good thing is, because of the teams that can take the Crocs in standard Blood Bowl, you know, which is Slan or Lizardman, they've both got one big guy on the roster. So as long as the big guy fits in with the theme of the team and he's obviously a big guy, you can kind of overlook everything. And that includes if you're using him, if you're using the Kislev Bear in a Slan team to be your Kroxigor. He's the big guy on the team. Yeah, okay, fine. He's the big guy, and that guy's got prehensile tail. Oh, fine. That's the beautiful thing about Blood Bowl, is that if there's one of something, you can basically use whatever it is, and as long as the size represents it, you're good to go. That's why the Amazon team was so jarring when it landed, because the Strength 4 dudes were kind of smaller than the Strength 3 ones, and it kind of was a bit like a bit throwy offy. Same with the off-roaders. But when you've got a big guy and you've got one big guy on the roster, as long as that one big guy is a big guy, you know who the big guy is. And that's the cool thing here, is you've got, well, in our top 5, there's about top 10 Kroxigor models there. But you can use any big guy you want. But we would recommend any of the top 5 sections here. and so would you, which was awesome. So thank you all very much for your suggestions. Awesome. If we've missed any out that you're really big fan of and wanted people to know about, please drop them in the comments, because somebody who's looking for a Kroxigor may find something that they really, really like. And hey, more painting is more better, because more Blood Bowl is more better. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel even further, please like and subscribe. It really does help us out. Or come join us on YouTube members or in Patreon, where you can get exclusive access to some content, some loot, early access to basically everything we do, as well as regular competitions. Or you can pick up some Bonehead Podcast loot either on our website at boneheadpodcast.com. We've got the Dungeon Bowl things, we've got tokens and stuff like that, or on our Spreadshirt site as well. Everything you do just helps us make more content and hopefully do it of better quality. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Happy blocking.